In our last video, we have completed our first chapter. That is, components of food. If you haven't watched that video, then we recommend you to watch that video first. Today, we have taken the subject, Science. Standard, 6th. Chapter 2, that is, sorting materials into groups. If you complete this video at least once, then we can assure you that you need not to go for any other tuition. So, let's start our new chapter, that is, sorting of materials into groups. In this chapter, we will cover two major topics, that is, objects around us and properties of material. Let's start with our first topic, that is, objects around us. We have seen that we have a vast variety of objects everywhere, like chair, bullock cart, cycle, toys, water and many other objects. All these objects have different shapes, colors, and uses. Here we will discuss two categories. First, same objects made of different material. Example, chair, like made of iron, made of wood, made of leather, made of plastic. Second, different objects made of same material. Example, wood, wooden chair, wooden bed, wooden almirahs, and wooden table. We have so much objects around us made of different materials. Example, table, made of wood, fan, made of iron, almirah, made of wood, sofa, made of leather, bed, made of iron and wood, and many more. All these objects around us is made of different materials as per the requirement of their uses. Now, in next topic, we will learn about the properties of material. In this chapter, sorting of materials into groups, we have covered our first topic, that is, object around us. Now, we will learn about properties of material. Let's start our second topic, that is, properties of material. Have you ever wondered that? Water jug is made of glass, why not cloth? Because a cloth cannot hold water. That's why we choose a material to make an object, depending on its properties and the purpose for which the object is to be used. So, what are all the properties of material that would be important for their usage? We will discuss some of the important properties. Now, in properties of material, we have observed that material around us have different properties, and we will learn important properties of materials. There are four major properties of material described in this chapter. Number 1, appearance. Number 2, hardness. Number 3, solubility. Number 4, transparency. We will learn each property one by one. Now let's start with our first property, appearance. Appearance is the visual quality of a material. Material usually look different from each other. Appearance has two types. One is luster or shiny, another one, dull. Materials that have shiny surface are usually lustrous. Metals generally shows these properties. For example, copper, material, like wood, plastic, are dull in nature. For example, wood and plastic. Now let's start with our second property, hardness. When we press different material with hands, some of them may be hard to compress, while other can be easily compressed. Hardness can be found in two types. One is soft, and another one is hard. Materials that can be compressed easily are soft materials. Example, cotton, sponge, etc. Materials which are difficult to compress are hard materials. Example, iron, wood, etc. Now let's start our third topic, solubility. The property of material in which it gets completely dissolved in liquid. Solubility can be divided into two. One is soluble and another one is insoluble. Soluble. The substances which completely dissolved in water are soluble. For example, sugar, salt, etc. Insoluble, the substances, which do not dissolve in water, are insoluble. For example, rock, sand, etc. Insolubility. In case of liquids, there are some liquids, which completely mixed with water, while some do not mix with water and forms a separate layer. You can see in this picture, a separate layer of oil, above water. In case of gases, some gases are soluble in water, whereas others are not. For example, oxygen gas is dissolved in water, which is important for survival of animals and plants that live in water. You can see the fish floating in water uses dissolved oxygen. The objects, which are not soluble in water, that is, insoluble objects or materials, have the tendency in which objects may float or sinks in water. Heavy objects sinks in water. Example, iron key, coin, pebbles, etc. Light objects floats in water. Example, plastic ball, dry leaf, wood, etc. Now let's start our fourth property, transparency. Objects can be differentiated on the basis of transparency. First, substances through which things can't be seen are called opaque. Example, cardboard. Second, substances through which things can't be seen clearly are called translucent. Third, substances through which things can be seen are called transparent. Example, glass. In this chapter, sorting of materials into groups, we have covered both the topic, that is, object around us, and properties of material. We hope you have enjoyed learning this chapter through our easy presentation. Share this video with your friends also. We are bringing more content like this in future, covering each chapter for each standard.